normal fire pit was like captain. And I'm like,
I've never done that. I've just done wood, just regular wood, tree wood, bushes and whatever.
now I'm capital hillbilly. Hilarious. I know.
Again, I have to pay for tons a year.
Okay, we will call to order the regular meeting of the Batavia City Council for Monday, June 17th, 2024. I would ask that you all please rise for a brief invocation to be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight, we are ever mindful and thankful for the successful weekend we've had in Batavia, not only the various street and retail events, but also the dedication of the first Flag Day monument is now in place. And we had some very nice services both on Friday and Saturday morning. And I think it speaks well that the national president of the American League of Women Mothers, or
Daughters of the American Revolution.
what?
Daughters of the American Revolution.
Excuse me, Daughters of the American Revolution got up and made quite a notion about the fact that this was really the first tribute to American Flag Day to be found in the United States. So I think we take that with a great degree of honor and appreciate everything that's being said. Tonight, we ask for understanding and vision and creativity by the members of the City Council as they act on the items of business before us. And we also ask for a special prayer tonight for those from our community and from all throughout the United States who are serving on foreign soil in defense of the liberties of the United States of America. And we just ask for a meeting of aldermen of vision and understanding and working together to make Batavia a great place for people to live and call home. We ask for all these blessings. Amen. Somebody over here. Alderman Beck, you want to lead us in the pledge?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ask the city clerk to please call the roll.
Barraza? Here. Lancy?
Here.
Beck?
Here.
Pieper?
Here.
Chanzit? Wolf?
Here.
Solfa?
Here.
Barron?
Here.
Lehman?
Here.
Ayazi?
Here.
Malay? Ewer?
Here.
Saron? Vogelsinger? 10 present, 4 absent.
We have the necessary quorum to conduct business. Moving then to item number 4, which is my reminder to everyone, if you're going to speak to us tonight, to please come up and use the podium and speak into the microphone, because this is being recorded on BATV, and if you don't talk in the microphone, you're not going to be heard. Moving to item 5, items to be removed, added, or changed in tonight's agenda. Do we have anything from any of the council members? Chair hearing none. Moving then to item 6, the consent agenda. Alderman Beck, do you have that? Chance, are you going to do it? Yeah. Okay. Let the record reflect Alderman Chance has entered the meeting.
Your Honor, the consent agenda reads as follows. To accept and place on file the Committee of the Whole minutes for April 1st, the Committee of the Whole special meeting of May 14th, May 20th, the Plan Commission minutes for April 17th and May 1st, and the building reports for May 2024. Approvals, June 7th, 2024 payroll in the amount of $1,049,316.30. Accounts payable check register in the amount of $3,790,076.37. City Council minutes for June 3rd and April 1st. Resolution 24-89-R, renewing a contract with Andy Frame Crossing Guard Services. Resolution 24-92-R, accepting public improvements at 470 North Randall Road, Culvers. Resolution 24-80-R, approval of new human resources management software. Ordinance 24-47, principal structure setbacks, 721 Viking Drive. Resolution 24-90-R, awarding a facade improvement grant to Everdean's Grilled Cheese at 227 West Wilson Street for an amount not to exceed $5,000. Resolution 24-72-R, awarding a grant under the Downtown Signage Assistant Grant Program within the Downtown Historic District to Everdean's Grilled Cheese. Resolution 24-91-R, awarding a grant under the Downtown Improvement Grant Program for Everdean's Grilled Cheese. And Resolution 87-R, authorizing a contract with DebtBook subscription software and a budget amendment for DebtBook. Your Honor, I would move that we approve the consent agenda as read.
Second.
Agenda is presented. Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Janset,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Solfa.
Aye.
Barron. Lehman.
Aye.
Ayazi.
Aye.
Ewer. Vogelsinger.
Aye.
Baraza. Lancy.
Aye.
Beck.
Aye.
Pieper.
Aye.
12 yes, 2 absent.
Motion's approved. Moving in to item number 7, matters from the public for items not on the agenda. Does anybody in the audience wish to speak?
My name is Jerry Ruth. I'm at 1214 Buttermilk Lane. I'd like to present an update to the City Council for the wastewater treatment facility project, if that's all right. It's not on the agenda. Okay.
Sure. We can vouch for you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Okay, here's the update for June. Oops. Come on. As soon as I get it working, I'll let you know. Okay, as everybody is well aware, bike path and road closure is still in effect, but we are paving on Water Street this week. So we're getting near the end in terms of our impact on the public areas. The sidewalks and curb were placed on Water Street all throughout from the south end all the way up to the intersection of Main. And so they're paving this week, and that should really clear things up in terms of that area. We've completed demolition of the excess flow clarifier and about 75% of the abandoned tank demolition, which is right next to it. So we have a clear space for the construction of our new primary clarifier control building. UV disinfection building construction and a headworks construction is ongoing. UV building has the finished slab, so they'll start on the superstructure this week. And headworks, I think they're going to be pouring the last of the walls on the ground floor this week. In terms of project photos, here is a picture of the under slab electrical going in at the UV building. And they did a hydrostatic test where they fill the tank with water because it's a water containing concrete structure, and it passed. And here's the aerial that was flown on June 3rd of that building. So close proximity to the adjacent buildings and everything, but things are going to plan. For the headworks, this is the concrete wall progression for the headworks on the moving north from the south part of the building. They've placed all of the lower areas to get to the brick ledge, and they're moving forward on the upper parts of those walls. And here's the aerial from that building. Curb installation on Water Street went relatively quickly. They had a machine out there, and so they made quick work of it, as well as the sidewalk that followed shortly thereafter. So now all of the accessible sidewalks are in place. There's another couple shots of the sidewalks along the sides of Water Street.
While you're there, do you know how soon they're going to do some of the backfilling? Because I know there's already people that are using the sidewalks, even though the street isn't open or anything yet.
You mean like on the edges? Between
Yeah,
the sidewalk
just backfilling. And I know that's not going to get the landscaping done, but the backfill really needs to get done, I think, sooner than later, because there's a lot of really deep spots off the sidewalks and the curbs.
Sure, that will happen after the pavement is done, for sure. I'm not sure exactly how soon afterwards, but I'll have the contractor giddy up.
Okay, thank you.
Not a problem. And not a big change here. It just sort of like looks like a mess to everybody, but this is the north and south ends of Pamarco Drive. This will probably stay in something like this condition, obviously allowing for traffic to pass through it as necessary for the businesses on the north end of Pamarco Drive. But this is the contractor staging area, so he's going to use it for material storage for the rest of the project. And as I noted, detours are still active. The existing UV structure is going to be converted into a non-potable water pumping station where we reuse the effluent from the treatment facility for different uses throughout the plant. So we're building an exterior stairs down to a lower level of an existing building. So we're pouring concrete foundations and walls for that. I mentioned the excess flow clarifier is now completely gone. And here is some photos of that buried structure. We call it the abandoned structure. That is just east of where that excess flow clarifier was. Went down some 12 to 15 feet. And here's that aerial showing where the excess flow clarifier was. It's a pretty clear circle from where that tank was. And that's where we'll be building our new primary clarifiers. In terms of costs, total just over $16.5 million spent so far on construction costs and construction engineering. The 27%, again, is based on days remaining. The contractor has not indicated he is early or late. They'll never tell you that they're early. We have one change order for $64,500. We're planning on another change order next month. And then a schedule update. I noted that they didn't say that the critical path was pushed back, but they did suggest that the Pamarco Drive, where they have their staging area, would be delayed a little bit, but not Water Street, which is, in my mind, in your minds, I hope, the most important thing in terms of the public. All of these other dates hold for the milestones for completion for the project. And that is my update for June. I appreciate your time. I'll take any questions that you have. No?
What was the other change order coming in? What was that for?
Well, there's been several minor changes that have happened. Can you hear me? There have been several minor changes that have happened. We track them as smaller segments that compile into a change order. There's been undercuts on Water Street. There's been additional pavement work on Water Street. There's been storm sewer changes, some changes to some minor piping in the site. So it's all tracking, I think, to be a credit anyways, but we're keeping an eye on it.
And that 64 was kind of the same thing, just a conglomerate of.
It was, yeah. There was a lot of back and forth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Answer questions? I had last Friday, I had some old time Batavians stop in. They now live in Florida, but they were here for, I think, a family wedding and somebody graduating from high school and et cetera. So they asked me if I could take them for a brief ride around town to look at some stuff. So we went out and they were extremely complimentary about what Batavia's downtown has turned into and how it's been looking. But when we get down to the sewer plant, the husband was outspoken in his quote unquote admiration for what Batavia's finally done down there. It's still a sewer plant. It was a sewer plant when he was a kid, but it looked nothing like this. Everything was exposed. You could smell it all. You could, he says he couldn't believe what Batavia's done. And I said, well, we've had a good contractor and engineer and everybody on it, and we're doing it kind of state of the art. And he says, one of the best investments you've ever made. Batavia will appreciate this 50 and 100 years from now. So I just wanted to let you know you got some compliments towards your work, and it's not even done, but the people who lived here 40, 50 years ago have great admiration for, as he still, quote unquote to me, Jeff, when I left down here, this was a dump down here. And look at what you've turned it into. So he says, give my appreciation to the city council for what they've done. And I said, well, we got some help financially on this, but it really has turned into something. And he says, yeah, obviously you got people down here who know what they're doing. So I took that as a compliment to you guys.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
Anybody else? Well, thank you.
Thank you for your time. All right, agenda.
Do we have any other matters from the public? All right, we'll go to item 8, the Main Street report.
Hi, thanks so much for having me today. Going to start with the downtown banners. The new downtown banners have been hung on Route 31 and on Wilson Street. We kind of changed the theme this year. We've taken advantage of all the photographs we have from April Duda Photography, and the theme is Shop and Explore, Dine in Downtown, welcoming people, as well as celebrating our 25th anniversary as being a Main Street community. So I don't know if you've had an opportunity, but those are all hung. In celebration of Pride Month, we created this sticker, which I do have extra if anybody is interested. These were given to all of any businesses in downtown that wanted them. We've had great response. People have been really positive about it. So any of the businesses in the downtown district that wanted to have one of these was given. And we do have some extra that will be at the Farmers Market Main Street booth. So if anybody wants one, or if anybody wants one here today, I have extras. The Wednesday night Farmers Market has begun. We are averaging about 20 vendors a week. It's been really a nice complement to Wednesday nights. We've been happy with the attendance that we've had. It's definitely a smaller scale market than on Saturday, but so far it's been really, really, really well received. And then finally, we put in a bid to host the Illinois, I jumped the gun. Tickets to Cocktails in the Park are on sale now. That is our annual fundraiser. So your tickets are now on sale at downtownbatavia.com. They're $40, and that gets you appetizers from the 10 different restaurants that are listed, live music, a complimentary cocktail glass, and then drinks are $7 a piece, or you can buy 10 for $60. So anyways, downtownbatavia.com, and that will be on July 27th. And then finally, we put in a bid to host the Illinois Main Street Conference, and we were awarded that today. So we're really happy. We will be, it'll bring in between 150 to 200 people from around the state. We just thought it was a really nice opportunity to get some additional exposure to Batavia. In every conference I've been to, the Lieutenant Governor comes to the awards dinner, so I'm really excited that we'll be hosting that this year. Yeah. Where? Well,
or is that secret?
It will be in a variety of locations throughout downtown. We will have some sessions in here. So basically, we had to come up with 3 different session locations. So we'll have some sessions at the library. The Comedy Vault, we'll have some sessions there. And then the awards dinner, we haven't made a final decision, but we'll be solidifying all those details. But we're really excited. The opening reception will be at Sturdy's Shelter. We're just really excited. We think Batavia has so much to offer, and we're excited that the people from around the state will get to see that. And that's all I have for today. Does anybody have any questions?
Well, in the context of things, that's a lot.
Yeah, it was a busy month. It was a short presentation, but a very busy month. November 12th through the 14th. 12th. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving to item number 9, waiver formal bidding for resolution 2024-093-R. Who's got this one?
Make that motion, Your Honor.
Okay, Alderman Wolf.
We can talk about the resolution after we vote on that one.
I have a motion and second, motion by Alderman Wolf, second by Alderman Sofa for the approval of the waiver of formal bidding on Resolution 2024-093-R. Any further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Wolf.
Aye.
Solfa. Barron. Lehman. Ayazi.
Aye.
Ewer. Vogelsinger.
Aye.
Baraza. Lancy. Beck.
Aye.
Pieper. Chanzit. 12 yes, no, 2 absent.
Motion's approved. All right, then, moving to the next one, which is Resolution 2024-93-R, approving a contract with Geneva Construction Company to construct a sidewalk along Garfield Avenue between South Harrison Street and South Jackson Street for an amount not to exceed $52,899. Alderman Wolf?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is the sidewalk that we just waived formal bidding on. It's right under $53,000 total for that. And this would be one of our empty streets that has no sidewalk on either side right now. So we're getting those tied together. Are there any questions about this?
I like the idea, given that it further makes it easier for kids to walk to Gustafson School.
Right, and then that's one of the things I was going to mention is that, you know, this is around the school area where we're trying to keep everything tied together. And more importantly, get kids the opportunity to walk to school and not have to have cars lined up all the way down 3 or 4 or 5 blocks away from the school. So anytime we get more sidewalks nearer to schools, the better off it is, especially for traffic.
Thanks to you, we already have a sidewalk going down the old railroad right-of-way from Walnut down to the Gustafson School.
Never met a sidewalk I didn't like or didn't want to see.
And that one,
get built.
I see anytime I'm down there quite frequently, a lot of kids use that. And a lot of residents use it when there's no school going on. So we have, I think, some pretty positive energy in town toward building sidewalks.
I'll move that we approve Resolution 24-093R.
Alan, do you just want to explain real quick why we waived the bidding for anyone who wants to?
I'll go back and I'll have to read it out.
They won the 2024 street resurfacing program, so they're going to extend the pricing and.
Right, just so we get the same pricing, and that way we're not going out to bid on this because the pricing is very competitive that they gave us for the rest of the stuff they're doing in town.
Anybody else have any questions? We have a motion by Alderman Wolf and a second by Solfa for the approval of the resolution. We've already approved the waive formal bidding. This is the actual resolution on 2024-93-R.
Correct.
Clerk, call the roll.
Wolf.
Aye.
Solfa.
Aye.
Barron. Lehman. Ayazi.
Aye.
Ewer. Vogelsinger. Baraza. Lancy.
Aye.
Beck. Pieper. Chanzit. 12 yes, no, 2 absent.
Motion's approved. Okay, moving to 11, ordinance 2024-46, adopting a flag policy by adding Title 7, Chapter 7 to the municipal code. Who's got this one? Alderman Chanzit.
We discussed this policy in committee, but we all did receive an email earlier today regarding the handling of this policy. Did you want to talk to us about
Sure. The question was posed back to the city attorney with regard to recommendations about what a procedure would look like, if any, about how flags would be suggested by the public to be placed upon our flagpoles if we adopted the policy that is before you today. And the recommendation from the city attorney was that instead it would be much safer for this council to just follow the letter of the policy, which states that flags which are placed on our flagpoles are those which are either recommended by proclamation of the mayor or by vote of the city council. He said it's a very slippery slope if you entertain recommendations for other organizations to suggest flags that should be put on our flagpoles would open us up to either having to post flags, which we, might not align with the values of this group, and or face the potential for First Amendment litigation.
So what we did in committee was, it was good. It was a great discussion. I actually really enjoyed participating and watching it. Did we do wrong by discussing it?
Oh, not at all. The very first thing that we had to do was to discuss and adopt the policy and, learning the lessons of what we should from that Supreme Court case in the city of Boston, and adopting a policy that prevents the city from being subject to similar litigation. And so the result of that conversation was that you recommended approval to City Council of this policy, and you tabled, as you should, making any judgment on the couple of additional requests for flags that have been made at that meeting, that those should be tabled until such time as there is a policy in place, and then you'll follow the policy.
I really appreciate the extra steps that staff has taken on this. They've taken this issue very, very seriously. I had made a recommendation. I wanted to see that flag stay up, the Unity one, because I honestly thought that it was a no-brainer that, all the colors represented, and it seemed to be the right thing to do, but I had withdrawn that because I wanted to wait for a policy to be in place. I wanted to make sure that it was done fairly, and I want it to be organic. I want it to be something that the city council recommends on its own. I want it to be something that passes by a big majority, but I also don't want to open up the possibility of really difficult discussions. This is a good community, and I know that we're not in a place, and we haven't seen for the last 3 years ridiculousness happen. We have not been sued in the last 3 years. We haven't had anyone set themselves on fire on the complexes of the government building here. This has been a good place to live. So I appreciate the discussion that happened, and I would turn it to the floor if there's any additional discussion. Otherwise, I would make a motion that we would approve the policy as it has been presented to us.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Chanzat, second by Alderman Wolf. I know we have one person in the audience wants to address us.
Thank you. I apologize for addressing you in shorts, but it was a little too hot even to walk from the car. And my printer ran out of ink, so I'll read from my laptop. Bob McQuillan, resident of Batavia. Glad to be with you again this evening. According to an article in the Boston Globe on April 23rd, 2023, in Wakefield, Massachusetts, a town council meeting took a 45-minute detour over whether the board should be in the quote-unquote business of deciding which flags to fly. Leaders in the Williamstown, Massachusetts, believed that they should steer clear completely. The debate was so thorny that Finchburg, Massachusetts, it prompted a rare mayoral veto. Throughout Massachusetts, local elected officials had to decide not just what should fly on municipal flagpoles, but how to even go about reaching such a decision. The Supreme Court decision had sparked questions over quote-unquote power and responsibility, and whether a small group of elected officials could or should speak for the community's values. This is a quote from a Williamstown, Massachusetts elected official. We decided to stay in our lane and reserve ourselves to town governance issues, said Andrew Hogland, It's a matter of how much do you want to be the entity that declares what the values of the municipality are. In our views, we thought our citizens are pretty good at doing that themselves. In the comments of that same article, I thought this was an interesting, telling quote. It's like a birthday party for kids, and every kid complains if they didn't get the biggest scoop on their ice cream cone. Massachusetts Municipal Association attorney Mark Reed of KP Law began a podcast by making the important distinction between government speech and private speech in a public forum. Government speech is by the government itself and does not include the expression of opinions by members of the public. A basic flag flying policy could solely list what flags are to be flown. For example, federal, Commonwealth, municipal, POW, MIA. A more detailed policy would also indicate which additional flags, types of flags, may be flown as determined by the municipality. If a municipality has more than one flagpole, it may consider designating one of those as a public forum. Reich recommended posting a sign at these poles indicating that the ideas and opinions represented are public speech and not necessarily the views of the municipality itself. I watched last week's COW meeting and took several points away. The ordinance could come before the process is even discussed. That sounds counterproductive to me. What is government speech versus public forum speech? Only government flags should be flown by the city. Residents have the right to fly any flag they want on their own private property. No matter the ordinance, the door is always open to a legal challenge. The council should make the safe choice. No matter what some people say, the American flag is the only flag that represents everyone. I explained this in an email I sent to the City Council, Mayor, and City Administrator last Wednesday. The safe choice is to fly only the 4 government flags that are currently flown: the American flag, the POW MIA flag, the state flag, and the city flag. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Hi, thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm Karen McQuillan of Batavia. Just a few things. First, I did listen to some of the proclamations about the gay pride flag called the Unity flag that's hanging, and I heard some references about the good people of Batavia. And I, like you, believe this is a wonderful place to live, and I'm thankful for that opportunity. And also many, many good people in my years here and in living in Geneva. These communities are to be desired by many who maybe can't even afford to live in these communities, but they're wonderful places. And earlier this evening when we prayed the Pledge of Allegiance, we all, well, I prayed it, but we all recited it because we believed that this truly is the flag that unites us. And just a few weeks ago, I had the opportunity to go to Valley Forge National Park, and especially there in the George Washington Memorial Chapel, there's beautiful, beautiful plaques and just commendations and remembrances of those who suffered for us, for our independence, for our freedom, for the unity of this country. And I was reminded that that is the flag that truly unites us. And I am sorry for those in our community who have suffered at the verbiage of others, at the opinions of others because of choices that they make in their life, because of their sexual preferences, which the gay pride flag represents, but I do not believe that that is a unity flag. As mentioned before, and you've even said it yourself, and it was beautifully acclaimed on Flag Day, that this truly is what we cling to in this country and represents why we are so blessed and thankful to live here in this country. So as you're making these decisions, I wish you would take into consideration that although you fly something and you proclaim something, it doesn't mean that those that don't completely agree with you do not have good values, because, you know, we're, like I said, we're blessed to live here and we have many, many people with the same values and just values that we all should live by. And those including to be welcoming, to be kind to others, to see the best in other people, and to try not to judge to the best of our abilities. So I just truly ask you as representatives of our community to take into consideration the values of all, the sentiments of all, but truly what unites us and what calls us all together. And I thank you once again for allowing me this opportunity to speak.
Hey, my name's Jim. I live in Batavia. You know, I've lived here for a while, and about 20 years, and obviously I've seen a lot of things come and go. The one thing I will say that I do know is that the positions that you guys hold are basically volunteer work. And it's really hard to find good people for these roles. Okay, but part of the reason why people want to fill these roles is because they get to decide on local issues. They get to go ahead and impact their lives that are around them, right? I guarantee you, and we've seen this as a repeated thread over the past 12 months, if we don't have the foresight to understand the world outside of us, outside of this hall, and actually prep for it before we do things, we're going to swamp ourselves and ask people to comment on national and social issues when really all they want to do is be an alderperson, right? And what that means, our candidate pool is going to fall through the floor. Because what if they make the wrong call on a social call? What if somebody disagrees and calls their work or harasses their kid or does whatever, right? I mean, we know these are hot button issues nowadays. So the ask is simply, the Supreme Court has told you what to do, right? I mean, it's already done. I mean, and no one can mess with it. No one can contest with it. It's done. So I hope we think about the people who are going to be in the seats after you, how hard it is to find people to occupy those seats who have good values that we all share, right? And then finally, more important than anything, we don't have to let this go to another meeting. We can just have the vote now. The Supreme Court has outlined the path and just be done with it, right? And then when the proclamations come up, they come up, we pass them. That's why you have proclamations for stuff like this, right? But we're not here to fight other people's battles for them that they're going to fight online anyways without us, right? So anyways, thank you.
Anybody else?
Hello, my name is Ann Murtaugh, and I've lived here 30 years, and I believe and stand for USA. I believe that the American flag should be the only flag flown along with the municipality and the community flag. But other than that, I'm not for personal opinion. That should be on your own property, private property, not public government property. God bless USA.
What's the pleasure of the council?
Got a motion in a second?
We can vote on it. Okay, well, we have a ordinance, item number 11 is ordinance 2024-46, adopting a flag policy by adding Title 7, Chapter 7 to the municipal code. Everybody understand what we're doing here?
And just a quick question, to be clear, maybe Laura can, since you spoke with the city attorney, he says that his research has shown that this ordinance would be appropriate and protect us?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess another quick comment. This has nothing to do about the flags we choose to fly at a later point. We're just saying that the flags that we choose, it's our decision. And we're not saying, here's what we're going to fly, just so the audience and everybody understands that.
Any further conversation?
So I guess, or do we not have one yet? What is the procedure to fly a flag? Or so you have to go to your alderperson, that alderperson is to bring it forward? Or no, there is
It would have
no
to be
procedure.
posed by an alderman because only you can decide what goes on your flagpole. So an alderman would bring up the topic of wanting to see a different flag on the flagpole, and or the mayor would bring a proclamation, and that too would be voted upon by the city council.
I certainly ask that we put something together here that put the power for this into the hands of the city council and allowed us to make the decision. And last week after some of this conversation took place, I had several different groups call me wanting to know if they could add their flag to our flagpole. And I don't know if there'd be an end to it. You would have a whole bunch of people down here wanting to add their flag. And I'm a supporter of the idea. There's certain flags that, they're hanging out there right now that need to be there. But I don't share the idea that we should open it up and just put up 5 more flagpoles and have all kinds of stuff flying around out there. There's certain key pieces that do it. Alderman Chancet?
To your point, then this is codifying our practices. So it needs to be brought up by an alderman or it needs to be a mayoral proclamation. So if you choose which things that you proclaim, I'm resigning, tonight because I have my business venture that I'm doing. So I won't be proposing the pride flag next year. If you're still in office, I would hope that you would have a mayoral proclamation, but there's no guarantee that the future mayor would want to do that. So it would need to be codified if that were to continue. And that's something to take up at a later date. It doesn't have to be tonight, but it needs to be done if Batavia intends on continuing this, or if another alderman would make that proposal in the future.
I would suggest that anybody wants to throw something else up there, they better have at least 8 members on the city council willing to agree to it. Otherwise, we're just going to spend a whole bunch of time here just arguing and not gaining any understanding. So, the staff, certainly at my request, has made this, I think, crystal clear as to how this is going to work and, who's up there now and who's going to stay and who comes down, and we go forth from here.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the council? Do you want to make another comment? There's one more.
Based on the line that the city administrator, Mrs. Newman, just made is, I need the alderman to realize you are taking the public out of this situation or this decision, because a proclamation can only be brought up by an alderman. Excuse me, but that's what you just said. I'm sorry?
We're elected. So the public puts us here to make these calls, right?
That's right. You represent the public. And I would hope that the public can come to you and say, Mr. Alderman, I would like such and such flag to be flown, and that you bring it to the council and then the council make the decision. I don't have any problem with that at all. I do have a problem if it's only the alderman's decision to even bring a flag up. But if I were to call you and say, Alderman, I'd like the Main Street Association's flag to fly while they're having their conference, I would hope that you would say, good idea, Bob. I'll take that to the city council. But that's not really what this policy says.
Well, I would hope that as well. And I, within reason, I intend to do that. But at the same time, I think this is a much safer way to do it and have people who are elected by the public decide. I mean, you're still going to need to get a vote. It's going to be,
Again, I don't agree with the policy. I mean, I agree with the policy. I have no problem with that. But I like the fact that the public would have some kind of interaction in it. And your policy doesn't say that right now. It says
It's government
alternate.
speak. This policy is for government speak, and it's what government, us as a government, is going to speak. And a lot of it, what I would feel would drive it is towards our strategic plan that we've spent many months deciding upon that together. And that is exactly what
All I'm asking.
SOFA said last week from the court case, that it's about government speech.
And I don't have a problem with that. All I want to know or request, and I can't tell you to do anything. All I can say is you represent the public. The public elected you. It should not, in my opinion, only be allowed that a council person says, I want to do this without any background from the public. That's,
we
we don't need any
without any background from the public.
Excuse me?
We don't get usually this much interaction from the public. So we do a lot more than you think without any feedback from the public. So
Alderman, I follow this council almost on an every meeting basis. I'm very
I would just
involved
question
in the
then why
local.
this is any different than a lot of other decisions we have to make. I mean,
Because
I'd love to be able
there's-
to call my state representative and him do exactly what I say, but that's just not the case.
I'm not aware of any other policy in the city that says only an alderman can bring something up. We have public comment so that people can express their opinions at meetings. So I would hope that you would welcome someone coming from the Main Street organization or the Boy Scouts or the Scouts, I guess now, that you would welcome them coming during public comment and say, I would like our flag flown during our camp days or the National Week for Scouting. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, there's nothing in this policy that prohibits citizens from lobbying their alderman to request a certain flag. What the policy does, the only way that it can be brought forth or put on the flagpoles is if the council approves it.
And they can come still speak publicly about anything they want.
Exactly. It'd be passed like any other ordinance that there'll be public comment on it. You guys will have discussed it at your meetings. It's just not an alderman deciding willy-nilly that I want this flag on this pole tomorrow and that goes up. It's a council decision and the council will speak as a governmental body for governmental speech.
Or you wanted to make a comment?
No, Roman just made it much more eloquently than I would have.
Any further conversation from the council? We have a motion and second. Wait, don't we? Yeah. Clerk, call the roll.
Chancet,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Solfa.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Lehman. Ayazi.
Aye.
Ewer.
Aye.
Vogelsinger. Baraza. Lancy. Beck. Pieper. 12 yes, no, 2 absent.
Motion's approved. All right. We now have adopted the flag policy. Moving then to 12, which is approval to appoint Alderman Alan Wolf to replace Alderman Dan Chancet on the Tri-City Ambulance Board. Somebody care to make that? So moved.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Sofa, second by Chancet. Okay. Clerk, call the roll.
Solfa.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Lehman. Malay. I'm sorry, Ayazi.
Aye.
Ewer.
Aye.
Vogelsinger. Baraza. Lancy.
Aye.
Beck. Pieper. Chancet.
Aye.
Wolf. 12 yes, no, 2 absent.
Motion's approved. Okay, item 13, appoint Alderman Tony Malay to replace Alderman Dan Chancet on the Tricom Central Dispatch Board.
I'll move.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Sofa, second by Alderman Chancet. For that approval, any discussion? Or call the roll?
Solfa? Aye. Barron? Aye. Lehman? Aye. Ayazi?
Aye.
Ewer? Vogelsinger?
Aye.
Baraza? Aye. Lancy?
Aye.
Beck?
Aye.
Pieper? Aye. Hansit?
Aye.
Wolf?
Aye.
12 yes, no, 2 absent.
Motion's approved. All right, moving to 14, the city administrator's report.
Yes, I am happy to say that we closed on 916 First Street on June 11th, and so the food pantry now officially has a new home. Of course, this would not have been possible without the generous grant from Congresswoman Lauren Underwood, with enough left over to assist with the build-out of that facility as well as the equipment that they will need. This evening, several of you and the mayor and Gary and the chiefs and Scott Buning and many members of the food pantry board went to 916 First Street for a tour of that facility. I honestly think, after looking at more than 10 other facilities, this one is so perfect for them by leaps and bounds compared to the other properties that we were looking at. As well, I think it offered us the opportunity to buy in at the lowest cost and have the least amount of the rest of the grant going to things like architectural fees, construction fees, and things of that nature, where they can now focus on the equipment that they need to purchase and coming up with making that space the absolute best that it can be to serve the needs of their clients. The Flag Day celebration last Friday, it was just one more example of the reason why this town is just so great. To build a monument to Flag Day, honoring Dr. Bernard Sagrand, and having our fantastic community band come out and play for us, and just to have people of all ages decked out in the red, white, and blue, feeling patriotic and feeling a sense of community was just wonderful. So if you missed it this year, don't miss it next year. It really warms your heart to see events like that in our downtown, our beautiful downtown. Our tax increment financing district Joint Review Board meeting is going to be held on June 24th at 10 o'clock a.m. right here at City Hall. Also, staff and CED has recorded the plat of subdivision for the Batavia Square development that includes the future Tesla dealership and CubeSmart self-storage facility on the old former Sam's Club site. So continues to take steps to become a reality there. And then on Friday, June 14th, Anthony Isom and I attended the Kane County Economic Development Roundtable Luncheon. Not only was it an excellent opportunity to meet together with the other municipalities in Kane County and share economic development activities that were going on in each of our towns, the county did quite a big presentation. They are using about $4 million of their ARPA funding to use as seed money for an economic development corporation. If you look at the counties that surround Kane County, almost every single one of them have one of these economic development corporations that bring together both people in the private sector and then employees hired by the economic development corporation in order to support existing businesses and look for new business opportunities to bring to the county. So they are at their very, very first formative stages. And so look for more from the county as that program proceeds. But the first 3 years of funding, that $4 million, has already been approved by the county board. Applications are now open for the upcoming police officer test taking place on Saturday, July 20th. If you know of anyone who is interested in law enforcement, please direct them to our website and to the police department page for more information on how they can apply to be a member of this exceptional team that we have here. We also received the loan paperwork for the second round of lead service line replacements. The mayor has signed the loan, and we're returning it to the IEPA. It's for $4.5 million, and it has a 30-year payback period with zero interest. And so while it's not a forgivable loan, it's about the cheapest money that we could have ever hoped to receive to make a significant dent in the remaining lead service lines. And every time we talk about this project, I just have to give kudos to Jeremy Barkai and the members of the water department, Lisa Lally, their admin, who, just constantly pursue trying to get additional funding and getting all of our lead service lines in this town replaced. We're at the forefront in the state for getting these lead service lines replaced, even ahead of the EPA coming out with mandates, which will be coming very soon. And for towns that haven't gotten the jump on this and will have to do an extraordinary amount of these in a short period of time, like 10 years, we're really put in a good position by the efforts of the water department. So I thank them very much. And that's all I have, unless you have any questions for me tonight.
Any questions of Laura?
Yes.
What's the timeline on the food pantry move and like officially moving from the current location?
So I could foresee that sometime in late fall would probably be the target date for them to move into that facility there. Right now, there are a number of goods from the toy drive, which we moved over to 916 First Street because they were at Sam's Club. And of course, now Tesla is doing their build out. So we're playing a little game of moving things around. But later this year, when the food pantry moves into 916 First Street, then the toy drive can utilize the space that we still have on lease until September of 2025 for the toy drive.
Any other questions of Laura?
Thank you.
Thank you. Going to the mayor's report.
You skipped other.
Excuse me, go ahead.
You skipped other business.
Oh, I'm sorry. Other business.
I keep forgetting, but since we just talked about Tri-City and Tri-Com tonight, if somebody from council will join me, I want to talk about the funding for BATV, being on the BATV board, because that's a struggle for them right now because franchise fees are down significantly, which that's their total funding. So if somebody would join me, I'd like to bring that up in the next cow.
I'll join you.
Thank you.
Any other business? Okay, going to the mayor's report. I guess the thing I'd like to emphasize is that we are getting near the day of the 4th of July fireworks program. And this one is probably may end up being the biggest one we've ever had for a couple of reasons. Number one, we've got, a great place to shoot it. But this year, we are being told that Batavia is going to be hosting a high school band of some 80 students from Germany. And they are going to come in and play some kind of a concert at the very beginning of the fireworks show. And then following that, the community band will step in and play their program after it. And I know there's a number of people in Batavia who are hosting members of the band in their homes and whatever have you. And I'm not sure, I may want to do something, if we can work the dates out, to maybe bring them down here for a couple of minutes and let the council meet them and have some conversation with them or something. We're still trying to work that out. There's a lot of moving parts of this thing, and some of these kids have gotten invitations, their relatives live here or whatever have you. So I'm not sure yet what's going on, but there's going to be a big crowd there already because of this band thing that's going to go on that night at the fireworks. So I know the group that's putting it on are planning another great show. They've already picked out the music, and they've got, the whole idea laid out, and with the cooperation of the Batavia Fire and Police Departments, we've really put together, I think, another great show. And we will, the one thing I guess I was asked to say is they could still use a few donations. So if anybody hasn't donated yet, or there's a group that wants to make a donation to the fireworks show, as you know, that thing is now in its 75th year, and it has been paid totally without any taxpayer money going into buying any of the fireworks or any of the stuff used to blow it off or anything else. That's all been donated money. And so we have a good tradition to follow in that regard. Now, obviously, that does cost the city some money because we have the police and the fire and the public works people on duty out there doing things. So yeah, there is some money, but none of the fireworks that's ever blown up in the skies over Batavia ever was paid for with taxpayer dollars. So I feel very good in saying that we are, I think, well on our way to this year, hopefully meeting that goal once again for the 75th year. And as near as we can tell, this whole thing started back in 1950 when we had a fire chief by the name of Bud Richter who came up with the idea of having a fireworks show on the 4th of July to keep people from going out and getting themselves in accidents on busy highways back in 1950. I can imagine what they'd say today if they could see the highways we have. But it started a tradition that I'm proud to say we've kept it alive. And there's some argument within the group as to whether this is the 74th year or the 75th year. But I think if you count the 1950 as part of it, we're at 75 years. So we have it's a nothing to argue about that. But I mean, it's a good thing to have, and we can say with great pride that we've got it going, and it's going to happen again this year. So I just want to encourage you all to know about it and bring your families and your friends out on the 4th of July, and hopefully we'll have a very good program out there. The other thing I just want to say, we have had some real interesting conversations with some of the people from the outer world here recently about different stuff that we are doing. And one of the more interesting ones I just was confronted with the other day was we have some water retention ponds in town, and Scott Buning and I have already been out in the car looking at a few of them. And, they're supposed to be, all these are supposed to be maintained by the homeowners associations of the various groups in town that have them in their backyard or in their subdivision. Well, we got one or two of them that have kind of jumped the fence, I guess I would describe it. And we got one that's, there was a bunch of trees in the middle of the forest, of the retention pond, and we've cut the trees down to maybe they're only 10 feet high or whatever, and then there's water surrounding them, and you got these dead trees, I'll call it, sticking up in the middle of the retention ponds. And if some of you may get some calls from some of your constituents about this, because I think we may have this on both sides of town. But the other day I got a call wanting to know, would it be okay if we allow these dead trees that are in the middle of the retention ponds to be the holders of political signs for the coming elections? And I can imagine that will certainly stir the pot up if that gets up. Now, I'm not saying which, I think it's probably both parties have thought about it, but there are some that are wanting to put their signs up on the retention ponds. And so Scott and I are deeply researching the rules of what you can and cannot do in a retention pond these days, and I'll probably have more to report to you on this as it goes forward. But I know most of you have them in your district, in your wards, and it's the kind of the new fantasy argument of the moment. Scott, you got any more thing you can offer on that?
Thanks. The only thing I would say is we did look into the sign ordinance, and you cannot put signs on trees. There's certain prohibitions in the zoning code about where you can put signs. Fences, trees, boulders are specifically outlined in the zoning code, so you cannot do that. So just for that particular
You and I
issue.
talked about, what I was confronted with is the idea that those who are asking the question say, well, these are dead tree stumps in the middle of retention ponds, so this is not really a tree, this is just a barren holder out there in the middle of the water. And I can assure you, if it gets done in the next few weeks, whoever's ward it is in, you're going to be hearing about it. I'm sure there'll be plenty of people having plenty to say about that one. So I just want to put the warning out that we got to make sure we got the understandings of what you can do in a retention pond. This place gets sillier and sillier as time goes on. All right, we need 17. We need a motion for executive session to discuss personnel.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Stoffel, second by Wolf. Clerk, call the roll.
Solfa?
Aye.
Barron?
Aye.
Lehman? Ayazi? Ewert? Vogelsinger?
Aye.
Baraza? Lancy?
Aye.
Beck? Pieper? Chanzit?
Aye.
Wolf?